We have people who start at 45, 50K, and in the year they're 140K.
Ooh, I want that.
We have tons of people.
I'm claiming that for all of you.
Yes,
okay?
You don't have to have a bachelor's degree in software or computer science to get into tech, period. That's a big myth.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Rennie. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. On my channel, I make content about financial literacy, career development, and lifestyle. So if any of those topics interest you, feel free to subscribe to my channel, join the fam. We're almost at 13,000 subscribers, so if you want to join this gang, I would really appreciate it, and you will learn a lot from my channel. In this video today, we are going to be talking about tech. All over Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms, unless you've been under a rock, you know that tech is the next big thing. We're talking about tech babes, tech bros. We're talking about 100K salaries, 200K salaries, 300K salaries, and it's very appealing. So a lot of people are looking to make that pivot into tech. And in this video, we're gonna tell you all about how you can get into tech if you wanted to. One thing that I always hear from people is them saying that, okay, I want to get into tech, but I don't really have a technical background, so how do I do that? And that's exactly what this video is gonna be about. They don't call me Rennie the Resource for nothing, so I had to make sure I got all the resources to help you pivot into tech. This video is sponsored by SkillHat. SkillHat is an organization that provides instructor-led expert training to help launch motivated professionals into their dream careers. So I know you've heard of many programs that claim to help you launch into tech, right? But this one is different. SkillHat's different. It's not just any other tech program that you have heard of. This one is dedicated to your success and making sure that you get a job in tech. You know that anything I promote on my channel has to go through my strict due diligence process, and because I couldn't physically try these programs because obviously I am self-employed, I don't really need to get a Scrum Master certification, but I wanted to make sure that this was something that I could recommend to all of you. So I spoke to employees, and I also spoke to a lot of recent grads from the program and got their experience. I asked them about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all of them actually had glowing reviews. They were very impressed, and they especially like the career coaching program that is part of this. This is not just a program that's going to come, collect your money, teach you some skills, and then leave you to dry when it's time to get a job. They actually have a great career coaching program, as I said, and this happens after you've gone through all your training. Then they're going to teach you how to get the job that you want, which is something that is like you don't really see in most programs. So if you are a graduate who's looking to pivot into tech, a new grad who just graduated and you want to get your first job in tech, if you're a new immigrant who's looking to see how to position your skills from back home and transition them into tech, or if you are someone who is currently in tech but you're looking to upskill or get some new certifications, this program is for you. And you know, I had to get you a little summon. You know, I always get my followers something, so I got you a discount. If you use my code xoreni, you're going to get 5% off of your purchase, and then this one is valid for only 6 months. So make sure that if you are interested, you get on it within the next 6 months. You can go to skillhat.ca to learn more, and I'll make sure to leave those links in the description. So now let's get into the video. Obviously, I am not in the corporate tech world, so I was like, hey, let me get an expert to speak to you on this. So I'm actually bringing on Mo, the director at SkillHat, to speak to you all about how you can pivot and get into tech. He's going to tell you the exact way, the steps to get into tech. So I hope that you have your notebooks ready, and let's get into this video right now. Hi Mo, thank you so much for coming on the channel, and everyone welcome Mo in the comments, please. Hey. Mo, thank you for being here. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about SkillHat, please.
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Mo, director at SkillHat. SkillHat launches you into your dream career in tech. Personally, I've been working in tech for about 10 years as a product manager, project manager, a Scrum Master, a business analyst. I've done some UX design work, done quite a bit working for Fortune 500 companies, tech startups, and government.
Nice. So you have a lot of experience in tech, clearly.
Yeah.
And I guess you're the pro because you've been there for 10 years. You were in tech before being in tech was cool.
Yeah, I remember like back then, you know, I was like the only black guy in class, only black guy in the office. Now there's a lot more diverse, and now there's just a lot more money in tech, and it's always been cool for people who are into tech, but now it's cool, it's mainstream.
For everyone, right? I know, I see the salaries online, and I'm like, I kind of want to be in tech too.
Yeah, let's talk about why we exist, right? Why are we doing what we're doing? So SkillHat exists because there are a bunch of unfair divisions in the world right now. So one of them is the racial wealth inequality, right? Which means that at the bottom of the GDP and the wage distribution is black people, right? So we're trying to close that gap between black people and everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Two is because of the lack of gender representation in leadership.
Yeah.
So we focus on black people, well, we focus on the BIPOC community, black, indigenous, and people of color, and we focus on women. Because data shows that when you empower women, you empower the world, right? And then three, we also are here to reduce the immigrant underemployment and immigrant unemployment. Data shows that, I'm not sure the percentage specifically, but it's over 50% of immigrants in North America and the UK are underemployed, right? So we solve that problem. And then last but not least is high tuition debt. So lots of people, especially in the States, have really high tuition debt from taking massive loans to go to university and not getting into jobs that help them cover those costs. But tech does help you cover those costs because of the high income from tech roles. So those four problems, data shows that right now, black people represent less than 5% of general population in tech roles. Wow. And it's gone up recently.
Yeah.
When we first started, I was the only black guy in many of my product teams. Right now, it's a lot more, but we're still at a huge disadvantage at less than 5%. So racial wealth gap, gender representation, immigrant unemployment, and those are why we're here.
Nice. And that's pretty similar to my channel. I exist to help Black and brown people make more money and become more financially literate. And especially new immigrants are very close to my heart as well, because I feel like coming from one country to a new financial system is pretty hard. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So if I can help people learn, and hopefully this will help you get more money in your pockets as well.
Because
you guys know I'm all about making your money.
Yes, sir. Work for you. That's why we partner with you, because we have the same mission.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole video is about how we can pivot into tech if we maybe don't have a technical background, or even if we do, how can we pivot into another role in tech?
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that you can tell us a lot about that. But for those who maybe don't even know what tech is, can you tell us what is tech?
Yeah, so when people talk about tech, right now the fastest growing sector is software and platforms. So that's what most people are talking about, and that's where the growth is. And so, there's core tech companies, right, where the technology is the product. So think about Microsoft, Facebook, Netflix. The product itself, the platform is the product. And it's growing so fast. So that's like where a lot of the demand is. Think about the top 5 companies in the world: Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. They're all tech companies. And back then, 10 years ago, the top companies were ExxonMobil, Texaco, Walmart. So technology really helps scale things. So the biggest hotel company in the world is Airbnb. How many hotels do they own?
I didn't even think of that.
Exactly.
But yeah.
They own 0 hotels. Right, so they're building these platforms that connect people who need a product and those who have it without growing inventory. So with tech, if you own a taxi company back with a regular cab company, you have to hire a driver to drive a cab. You have to always buy new inventory, new cars. Uber can launch in Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Canada in one day and have 1,000 people working for them with the same platform.
True.
So the value here is that with incremental revenue with new customers, your costs are kind of staying flat. So the same platform can service 10 people, can service 1 million people, and that's where the value comes from. So it's so profitable. These companies are minting a lot of cash. And so because of that, they need engineers, they need people to work with them. And so that's why it's growing so fast on the side of the core internet tech companies. But on the other side, there's traditional companies now who are adopting technology for everything they do with COVID and just in order to become more efficient and compete better.
Yeah.
So when we talk about getting into tech, we mean everything. Getting into a company who technology is their product, but think about the traditional industries, so healthcare, insurance, mortgages. All these industries are now leveraging technology for delivery. So with investing, back in the day, you'd have to call your stockbroker, and they're running all these trades on the floor, and it's going crazy like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
But now, we have Robinhood and Questrade, Wealthsimple.
Yeah.
So that's industries being disrupted by tech. Or think about healthcare. I remember I recently went and did my blood checkup, and they have a company called Life Labs who's integrated with the hospitals, and so you can see your health results on the app. You don't have to go in the clinic. Remember when you get the call, they're like, Rennie, you have to come in next week, and you're like, tell me what's going on. Am I gonna die? Now you can just log into your app, and you can see the results over time, which is another thing about that, right? You can see what was my cholesterol a month ago and versus now. So technology is disrupting pretty much every industry, and so and it's creating so much value, and that's kind of where the demand's coming from.
Nice. So I guess there's health tech, there's law tech, there's fintech, education tech, like
you got it.
Literally
anything
you can think of,
anything
which is really good, because I guess if someone doesn't have the background, or they work in maybe law, but they maybe not have the tech background, they can still work in law tech and not feel like they're jumping into something completely new.
You got it. Right? You got it. And that's really what SkillHat does. We help people, like I said, we launch you into your dream career in tech, but to make that jump, you kind of have to have a foundation and where you're coming from. Unless maybe you want to be a developer and the technology itself is your core strength. But if you're coming from any background, banking, healthcare, insurance, whatever it is, we help you kind of pivot into the technology side of that industry.
Nice.
If that's your decision, right? Yeah. But it's so easy for a lot of people to do that because they have that foundation.
So when I think of tech, a lot of times I think of coding, right? But I know there are a lot of non-technical roles in tech. So how would somebody who is non-technical get into tech? How does that work?
I guess we'll talk about the different roles first.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about, I guess, how to get it.
Okay.
Right. So the first thing is, let's talk about the stakeholders and the tech product teams, right? So what we're going to do is, in our minds, we're going to draw 5 circles. In the center, we have the change managers, which is the product manager, the project manager, the business analyst, maybe even a technology trainer. So we're enabling the company change, move from their current state to their future state with this new innovation, right? On the top right, we have the customers and the end users. So right now, if you're an end user, if you use any kind of technology, you're in tech. Because you're the one who's minting the cash to build this tech, so you're part of the ecosystem.
Okay, fair.
So if you use Instagram, if you watch this on YouTube right now, you're already in tech. We're all in the ecosystem. Because without you, there's no ecosystem. Right? So as an end user, that's powerful, because now you have an advantage because you use these products every day. You can figure out how can we make it better. What's my pain point as the user, right? I'm a product manager at or whatever company. I'm using my own product and I'm making it better. So that's a leg in. If you already use these platforms, imagine you're probably better off than the person who's not tech savvy. Think about your mom or your grandma. She's going to find it hard to get into tech with the same training you're going to get because you're already ahead because you're tech savvy. So that's the top right, the customers and the end users. Top left, we'll call it the business, which is like the CEO, the entrepreneur. You could, if you have an idea, you go talk to some investors, talk to me, we'll invest in you. And you have an idea, you bring on a team and you build it and you make a ton of cash. So there's the entrepreneurs, the business owners. Then you have, within like corporate, you might have a business team. Like say you work in the bank, you might have the executives, the VPs, the chief information officer. That's the business team. Those who own the customers and are responsible to generate revenue and come up with innovation. You might also have tech sales, operations teams. That's the business side. Bottom left is the technical team, right? So that's the actual core engineering team who build the products. So we have roles there like the software developer, the architect, the data analyst. You could even put a UX, UI designer in the technical side, but it's also a role that brings on a lot of creativity beyond being technical and knowing how to code and math and complex algorithms. There's some of that, but there's also a lot of the creative side and the writing and the research. So those are the core technical roles: cloud architect, security. That's technical. And on the bottom right, what we have is the industry practitioners. So think about the regulators. Right, so if you're a regulator, like think about all these tech companies have to regulate it, right? There's privacy, security. So all these regulators, suppliers, if you supply physical devices or whatever to the tech companies, so those are the industry practitioners, or you're just an expert. So those are like the different roles in tech. So as far as how to get in, that's a whole other question. And we'll take a wusa, we'll relax, and then we'll talk about that.
Sounds good. Okay, so I think when most people hear tech, they hear that bottom left, and that's all they think about. But clearly there's so many other opportunities.
And I forgot marketing as well, which is the top left, which is where you play. That's another role in tech. There's product marketing, and there's just marketing in general, just to market the product. Right?
So if we wanted to get into these roles, are certifications needed to get into tech?
I would say the short answer is yes. And that's a good thing.
100%?
Right?
Like always, you always need a certification?
The short answer is yes, but the long answer is not all the time.
Okay.
The short answer is yes, because the more certified you are, the higher you'll increase your chances of success.
Okay.
And that's a good thing because certifications are short. Right, you can get certified as a business analyst in 2 months with SkillHat.
Oh, really?
You get certified as a Scrum Master in 2 days with SkillHat.
2 days?
2 days.
Oh, I was thinking like a degree, but okay.
So the certification is usually a short degree or a short learning experience to validate you've learned something very specific. So in tech, there's tons of certifications for every single role.
Okay.
So for whatever role you're trying to get into, the more certified you are, the better. But to your other question about degrees, I'm an educator, so I think about it in the actual technical word. A degree is like a master's degree or a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a bachelor's degree in software or computer science to get into tech, period. That's a big myth. You don't have to have a degree in computer science. As a matter of fact, for some roles, you don't have to have any degree at all.
Oh, that's good. That's a good sign.
I've seen Scrum Master roles that pay as high as $60,000, $70,000 for an entry level, which require only a high school diploma. And I've seen roles that pay over 6 figures, and if you have experience, you only need a high school diploma.
Wow.
So there's roles in tech, like even in UX, user experience design, you only need a high school degree for some roles, but in many roles you need a bachelor's degree. But it doesn't have to be in tech. So I'd say more people, in fact, over 50% of product managers don't have a tech background and they come from product management. So that's the point. You don't have to, if you want to transition right now, say you're in social work or you're in health services or customer service or sales, wherever you are, to make that transition, there's a number of steps I'll show you. But being certified is a great step, but the good thing is it doesn't mean you have to take a long 1 year or 2 years master's program. You could be certified in a short time, less than 6 months, and that could be that's the training and the education you actually need to make that transition.
That's really good to know because, again, I think this misconception is, I'm going to have to do a 1 year degree. Who's trying to go back to school? Not me, right?
No.
So that's good. 2 days for just a Scrum Master.
Well, 2 days to become certified.
Okay.
So there's a series of steps to get into tech, and that's another misconception. So the certification is one of the steps.
Okay.
So from our research in the last 2 years, last 5 years comprehensively, but 2 years of actual data research every day, we've identified a series of 9 steps to make that transition.
Okay.
We could talk about that. Being certified is one. And I was trying to juxtapose that with the other types of roles, like maybe in banking. The certification and the education is all you need and you can get in. In tech, it's not that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more in terms of hands-on practical skills and portfolio development that you need to do to make that transition. So we'll talk more about those steps whenever we want to get into that.
Maybe we could get into it now. What are these 9 steps? How do we this is the question that everyone's going to come to this video for, but how do we actually get into tech? So what are those 9 steps that we have to follow?
So the first thing is learning the skills, the training. You got to go get training. That's the number one, learning the skills you need. Now, you can learn self-paced. There's self-paced platforms, Udemy, Coursera, YouTube. We love those platforms. We recommend them. But we recommend, if you're trying to make a transition from a background that's not into tech, you need a live instructor-led program. So you need to be learning from the experts, be able to ask questions. So you need a collaborative training with other people who have the same goal as you and an expert.
Okay.
So 1, the training, self-paced and instructor-led. 2, you need to learn the tools. So tech is very hands-on. And then an interview is less about what do you know, but more about what do you know, how have you applied it, and what have you built.
Okay.
So you have to learn the tools. So if you're going to be a product manager, you got to learn the frameworks, learn tools like Jira. If you're going to be a UX designer, you have to learn tools like Figma and others. So learning the tools, the software. 3 is you have to apply those skills, right? So you have to build a portfolio of work that you can show and say, here's what I've built, here's my actual product. 4 is coaching. It's really hard to do it alone without coaching. We invest a lot in coaches at SkillHat. We'll talk more about the coaching programs, but you need a coach to help you with your resume and your interview prep. So those 2 things. So that's now we're at 5 steps: having a stellar resume and being ready for interviews so you can talk about your value because you're making a transition. You have to tell a strong story.
Exactly.
Then you need to be actually certified. So training is kind of different from being certified. I could train you with something, but you might not be certified in it, right? So getting certified, having a stamp on your name. So if you want to be a project manager, being PMP certified or CAPM, and whatever other certifications in cloud, security, UX, whatever, right? Then I say you need mentorship, which is different from coaching. So think about like you're a basketball player, say Kyrie Irving. He has a coach, Steve Nash, who's waking him up at this time, drilling him, saying run here, run there, here's what we're going to do, right? Who holds him accountable. Then he has a mentor. Kobe Bryant was his mentor, somebody who kind of he looked up to, and you can have the strategic conversations about direction, but it's not coaching you every single day. You need a coach and a mentor, okay?
Makes sense.
A community. Okay. So you need to have a community of a network, really, of senior people who've done the role, people you could just get industry insight from. And the last but not least is when you land that first job. Once you've done all these things, you're in a position to land the first job. You have the training, you have the community, you have the insight, you have the certification, you have the interview skills, you have a strong resume, you have a portfolio. That's a lot, right? And then now you're armed to get the job. And then on the first job, you need that job success support. Right? You need that coach to still work with you. You might run into a problem. You might have a difficult stakeholder. You might feel that imposter syndrome. You need a community. So you need that job success support. And so that seems like a lot of stuff, right? Which is why we built SkillHat. So you can do all that kind of on your own, or you can go to one place, and that's SkillHat, and you get all that.
Okay, that was exactly what my next question was going to be. I was like, so where do we get all of this? And it's all available in one place. And I think the one thing that I noticed from SkillHat versus a lot of boot camps that I see is that SkillHat basically has everything in one place, and they support you not just until you get the job, but after the job as well. If somebody wants to get into tech, what are the top 3 pieces of advice that you would give them? Yeah, the top 3 pieces are the 9 steps to get in, condensed into 3, which is 1, learn the skills. 2, once you learn those skills, apply the skills. It's not enough to learn it. You got to apply it by building something. And then 3, build a network, which is your community, your coaches, your mentors. Those are the 3 steps. That's it, right? At a very high level. Yeah, great. Everyone, write that down. So one of the questions I got from somebody who submitted a question was, what organizations offer internships to help build confidence? Sometimes trainings and seminars just aren't enough. So absolutely. Yeah, they're not enough. And that's why I juxtapose tech with other roles. So like you have to have hands-on experience, and you can get that from a lot of places, right? So after you get training, take that with you and just go volunteer anywhere, right? Just make sure it's strategic. So to answer your question, what organizations? Many organizations. So where you want to work, you might have an entry-level program for either new grads, or maybe so SkillHat focus on the BIPOC community, Black, Indigenous, and people of color. There's a lot of companies now who are looking for that community because we're marginalized. And so just by virtue of the training you received and you being in that community, there's opportunities that are looking for you, right? So just search for those and apply. So other volunteer opportunities abound with nonprofits. So charities, nonprofits, they're cash strapped, but they need to make a lot of impact. So I found a really cool website called Catch a Fire. Catchafire.org, where nonprofits post volunteer gigs. So if you learn web design, it's a platform where nonprofits post volunteer roles for like web design or UX and UI or product management, and you can actually work and enter with an organization. But that's also hard to find sometimes. Right? I was gonna say it's so weird because you would think if you're volunteering your time, it would be easy to get a volunteer role, but it has to be the right experience too, right? I already talked about that. You can waste your time in a role if you're not really building the hands-on things. You don't have good mentors. So that's why we built a different program at SkillHat called the Accelerator Program. So I should say, our courses, we have 5 courses that are academic: the UX and UI design program, the Agile Project Management program, the Business Analyst program, and then we have the Certified Scrum Master, which is a 2-day certification, and the Certified Scrum Product Owner, which is 2 days as well. So those 5 programs. Now the 6th is the Accelerator. What that is, it's another 9-week hands-on product building exercise. So if you know anything about a hackathon, it's like a hackathon. But if you don't, I'll explain. Because we graduate roles, or we graduate from all the fields across any kind of product team, UX designer, product manager, scrum master, BA. Then we bring in software developers.
we put them into teams.
Oh, okay.
So you can join a team right now, tomorrow, as either a product manager or a scrum master or a BA or a UX designer working with an engineer. And over 9 weeks, you build a product. Any idea you have, right? You have an idea to connect influencers with brands, for example.
Someone make that idea.
Whatever idea you have, you could build it right now with SkillHat, right? In the accelerator program, starting June 18th. You pick a role, and then there's different teams.
Okay.
So you form a team around the idea you want, and then there's coaching. So we have coaches from companies like Google, Stripe, Wealthsimple,
nice.
Microsoft, who are actually employed in the accelerator to help you with that process, right? So after the training, if you find it hard getting a voluntary gig or you want a structured experience to build something, the accelerator is for you. Over the 9 weeks, the structure is the first week is you form your team and orientation. Week 2 and 3 is what we call a design sprint. We go through the design thinking process to empathize, define the idea, ideate, prototype, and test it out. Then week 3, you present your design demo in which you want to build, and then you have 5 sprints, which is 5 cycles of work, 5 weeks to build it in week 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you take that role as a BA or a scrum master or a product manager or UX designer working with the team, then you build it and then you showcase it in week 8 to a panel of judges from these companies as well and tech recruiters.
Pretty cool.
So at the end, you have a portfolio, you had some fun, you get that team experience. There's 3 big barriers that prevent most people from getting into tech. 3 barriers.
Okay.
One is, even when they have the skills, so say you've learned the skills, there's 3 barriers that prevent most people. This is what we've learned from our experience. One is that lack of experience in a cross-functional product team.
Okay.
So a team of product people.
Yeah.
Most people may have the skills, but they don't have the experience. And then 2, as a result of that, they don't have a portfolio. They don't have a product that they can say, go on the App Store, I built that, right? Or go to this website, I built that. And then 3, because of those 2 things, they lack confidence in job interviews, right? You go for a typical product manager interview, they'll ask you questions like, walk me through a product you built. How did you build it? Right? Walk me through your design thinking process.
And you're like, I
haven't done it, but I can do it. So how do you show it? Right? So we notice these problems, and that's what we solve in the accelerator, where you can build a portfolio, work with the team, and have a product. And then in week 9, we get into coaching. So coaching you on, okay, you've gone through an 8-week experience, you have a product. How do you leverage that in your resume, in your LinkedIn, and in all these platforms you need to show yourself and land a job?
That was excellent, and I'm excited for this program. So you said it starts June 18th? June
18th, yeah.
Great. So if someone wants to sign up, they can just...
Yeah, you can sign up right now. I think we're going to be oversubscribed.
Okay.
So if you find out right now, go register right now.
Yeah.
And you can register at skillhat.ca/accelerator.
Okay, and I think the good thing about that, as you said, a lot of people face imposter syndrome when they when they want to move into a new industry, especially, even just when you start a new job, even if you know everything, you're like, so do I deserve this? But especially if you're moving into another industry.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think this is good to give them that confidence and work. It's one thing to like become a scrum master, know the skills, but never worked with anyone. It's another thing to actually work with people in a whole team. So I think that's a great program. So let's say someone wants to get into tech. What is the best way to position their resume? And also does SkillHat help with that? Yeah,
absolutely. We do help with that. So we will help you with your resume and your interview skills. Lots of programs you learn, they do very well with the training, but you now got to figure out how do you make that transition. It's very hard doing it on your own. So we have coaches who help you with that process.
Oh, nice.
So we have the program process of SkillHat is you get the 10-week or 12-week training, whatever your program. Then you go into coaching. Now, in coaching, we have a series of steps in coaching. So your one-on-one coach will work with you to help you figure out what's the right role for you, help you craft a stellar resume, help you review your portfolio, and help you with your interview skills over a series of one-on-one sessions, right? And then to your question of how do you position the resume, think of a resume like a marketing tool. Like our coach Bellamy always says, think of your resume like if you're driving on the highway and you see a billboard of like WizKid's coming to town or Drake is coming to town. You want to know a few things, right? When is it? How much is it? Is it free? What time? And you have like 3 or 4 seconds
to get there.
To look at it. Same thing with your resume.
I like that analogy.
Yeah. Same thing with your resume. It's a marketing tool. So you want to think about what does this role want? And what are the top highlights I need to show right away to get the recruiter to even take a look at the resume? Because How long do you think the typical recruiter will look at a resume for?
10 seconds?
Probably like less, probably 4 or 6.
Yeah. Okay.
Before they switch. Because I was talking to Justin Mercatus, who's a HR recruiter at a top tech company in Toronto. He said he had on Saturday, on a weekend, 250 resumes he had to review on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So you need to make it easy on them. You got to have empathy for the recruiter as well. If your most marketable skill or most marketable trait as a new entrant is the training you received, your certification, your personality, that's what you want to put up there. Or maybe it's the industry, right? The resume is a whole other conversation. There's like, we have like five to 8 things to put in there: your profile, your certifications, your skills, and how you projectize it. So it's a bit of a longer conversation, but at the very least, know that we will help you with that and focus on the top marketable skills on the top. So some folks will say put education on top. Some say put experience on top. Well, what you put on top is what's strongest for you.
Yeah.
Each individual has what's strongest to them. So if you have a ton of experience, put that on the top, right? If you're applying for tech roles in, let's say, banking or retail, and that's your strong point is you have experience in that industry, the experience will come first, and then the training after that. So just as long as you're aligning your skills and your person to the role, that's the most important thing.
Okay, good to know. And is this coaching available for free, or do we have to pay extra for this coaching?
No. So the coaches included in our tuition.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, everything is a package deal.
Okay.
You get the 5-step process for any of our programs, right? To make you transition is the training, the coaching, the accelerator, the networking. We have a ton of networking that we do in our Slack channels. We have the coffee chats that we do every month. We have in-person events, and then the last is job success support. So once you go through that 5-step cycle, you're going to be able to make that transition. And we've helped tons of people do it. So last year we helped over 100 people make that transition from roles like customer service, social work, HR, marketing, sales, into roles like product management, business analysis, user experience design, cloud, security, etc.
What if somebody is a new grad? What if they're a new grad and they don't even have any experience? Is that something that you help people with as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we help you with your storytelling and your positioning and your confidence building.
Okay.
So we have lots of new grads who maybe they finish a program, and we have 2 types. So we have those who are in computer science and they don't really like to code. They feel like it's stressful. So they want to get into a role that utilizes more of their soft skills and people skills like business analysis or product management.
Okay.
So we help those types of people. And then we have the opposite. Those who have a business background or social science background, like they study history or economics and they want to get into tech in their first role, we help those people as well with those same courses. So it's like, because those courses are a mix of both the technical and the business side.
So I guess one question that everyone's asking is, okay, if I'm going to pay this money and go to this course, how likely is it that I'm going to get hired? Like, am I going to get hired? So maybe
you are going to get hired. The question is how long? When is it going to take?
Okay, yeah.
Guaranteed, you will land something.
Yeah.
Once you go through the process, because there's so much demand. You know, for every one developer, every one person in tech, there's probably like 3 or 4 open roles. There's more roles than there's people. There's a shortage of labor. Yeah. Right. We have some of our alumni who took a program in February last year. They transitioned from making like $45K in customer service. Their first role in tech as a BA might pay $15K more, so going from $45K to 60, and then they're doing well in that job, but they keep getting called by other companies. Now they get another position for $70K, and they're like, "Wow, I've moved up in such a short time from 45 to 70, and just in like 4 or 5 months." Yeah, and then they're doing well in that role, and then they get a contract that pays $60 an hour, another $120K a year, and then now they get another position. So we have people who start at 45, 50K, and in the year they're 140K.
I want that.
We have tons of people.
I'm claiming that for all of you.
Yes, I'm claiming it for you too. The average alumni income increase in our program for successful candidates is $45,000. Wow. So if you're making $40K when you come in, when you're done, you're making $85. If you're making $80 when you come in, when you're done, you're making $125. So
I think, and I think $45K, no matter what you're at, $45K bump is
good. And this is not just 1 year. This is every year. right? So now when you multiply it over a 5-year period or a 10-year period, it's $500,000 you've added to your income from 2 to 6 months of investment in yourself.
Wow, I'm impressed. Okay,
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to sign up for SkillHat and take one of your courses, how would they do that?
Yeah, straightforward. Go to skillhat.ca, use Reni's code, you get a discount.
Yes.
And then you either just apply for the program you want, or you book a call with a learning advisor. So it's a free call, and they'll be able to help you figure out what program is best for you based on your personality, your goals. Lots of folks, the goals they want something remote, something flexible, something that'll pay them more, something that's not stressful, that has work-life balance. Those are all the things that you get in tech roles.
Well, everyone, I hope you learned a lot, and I hope this was a valuable session for you. Thank you so much, Mo, for being here and teaching everyone about this. If you want to sign up, once again, make sure to use the link in my description and use my code. This offer is only valid for 6 months, so make sure that if you are thinking about signing up, you sign up. And remember, you don't just have to sign up and give your money and register for a program now. You can actually book a call with a learning advisor so that you can, talk to someone before you make that decision and leap into it.
Absolutely. We have a team of learning advisors who are always around 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern every weekday to take your call. In 30 minutes, have a conversation about your career, your personality, and help you make a decision on what the right program is for you.
Good, perfect. I'm excited. And everyone, if you do have questions for Mo, feel free to leave them down below, or you can even go on their Instagram at SkillHat, right?
That's correct. Yes, SkillHat on Instagram.
Yes, and ask any questions that you have. Email. I'll leave all their information in the description box so you can get in contact with them.
Absolutely. Our programs are fully remote, 100%. So if you had a question about that, everything is fully online. Again, it's live programs. It's not self-paced. So you have a live person you can ask questions in the classes from starting at day 0 to nailing it on day 1 of the job.
Actually, that's another question I had. If somebody has a full-time job, they're able to take your courses still,
yes,
right?
most, and we optimize for that.
Okay.
I'd say 90% of our students are currently in a full-time job looking to make a transition. We focus on that transition need of our customers. So you can take our programs. Most of the classes are evenings and weekends.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again, and I hope that you liked this video. Make sure to leave a like and leave a comment down below letting me know what you learned and what was valuable for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.